Another airstrike in a rebel-held part of Syria. More people buried as one more school and one more house is destroyed. Many, including children, did not survive. Activists say more than 250,000 Syrians have been killed in more than 4 years of fighting. President Bashar al-Assad's regime has tried to silence everyone who opposes him, enemies he describes as terrorists. He's reiterated his message after the attacks in Paris. Assad told visiting French diplomats that Syria warned what would happen in Europe if the West continued to support what he calls terrorist groups in Syria. Nearly all armed Syrian groups fighting to overthrow the regime have condemned the Paris attacks. Rebels have reminded on social media that the state-sponsored Grand Mufti threatened suicide bomb attacks in Europe 4 years ago.
I say to all of Europe and America, we will prepare those seeking martyrdom who are already among you if you bomb Syria.
Since then, nearly half of Syria's population has been forced to leave their homes. The government has lost control of more than 80% of territory, which has helped hardline groups such as ISIL to flourish. The Syrian opposition in exile has warned the longer the conflict carries on, the more people will die or leave, and only hardliners will be left in Syria. Opposition politicians have criticized the West for staying silent for too long.
When the Americans and the Russians and the French and the British and the Saudis and the Turks and everyone says, look, this is the roadmap, what do you expect the opposition to say? They are dependent on regional and global powers. This particular war in Syria, it's more about regional war by proxies and global war by proxies than about really the future of Syria itself.
Backed by Russian air power and Iranian and Hezbollah forces on the ground, the Syrian regime says its stance has been vindicated after the Paris attacks. And ISIL supporters are also celebrating at least a propaganda victory as they claim to have carried out the attacks. But millions of Syrians who just wanted the right to choose their own government don't agree with the government or ISIL. Osama bin Javaid, Jazeera.